Hi there, this is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video, we're discussing The Thursday Murder Club, written by Richard Osman, as the first in a series. I love this book. I've come late to this series. I think there's 3 or 4 books in the series already, and I do want to read them all. This book is amazing. I love everything about it. I love the plot, I love the mystery, I love the characters, I like the setting. It seems so well thought out, this book. Everything seems deliberate. There's no filler. And it keeps you entertained and engaged from the very first page. It's a really great book, and I do recommend this very much. This book starts with a great hook. It had me engaged and hooked into this story immediately. One of our main characters, Joyce, is eating alone in a dining room. She's approached by another lady, and we find out this other lady is called Elizabeth. Elizabeth sits down and starts questioning her about certain things, but very specific things it seems. She wants to know how long somebody who was stabbed would take to die. Stabbed not in a major organ, just in a certain part of the body. How long would they have to live? And if someone, help them a bit by applying pressure or doing something to help them, would they survive? Joyce, we find, is an ex-nurse, so she knows something about that. And from that first meeting, Elizabeth then invites her to the Thursday Murder Club. There's an opening. They've got an opening for somebody else to join, and they want Joyce as part of it because of her skills as an ex-nurse. What this group is a group of people in a retirement community. They've all got certain skills that help with solving of cold cases. How do they get these cold cases? One of the members was an ex-police officer, and before she left the police force, she photocopied or stole case files. She wasn't meant to, but she did. And so they take these case files and study them and try to solve the crimes. They meet once a week to do this. So that just interested me a lot. I just love that whole setting of the story. I love the idea of this group. I love the fact that the characters have all these different skills. They help out and support each other. And some of those skills just really intrigue me, especially with Elizabeth. And we get the hint that Elizabeth was an ex-spy or something, because she has all these contacts and there's hints of things she did in the past in certain countries in Europe. She interrogated somebody or helped out in certain things, or lived or worked in a store somewhere for a while. It seemed undercover, doing something secretly. So her character really interested me a lot in this story. The other members of the group are, of course, Joyce, the nurse. We have IBRAHIM, and we have Ron, and we have Penny, and Penny is the ex-police officer. But Penny's also suffering from dementia quite severely, so she's not really an active member of the group anymore. She's basically almost comatose for the most of the story. But Elizabeth still goes and visits her almost every day and discusses what's going on in the group. So I found that a great aspect in this story. Early on in this book, we also meet Donna, who's a current police officer. She transferred from the Met to the country, and she's at the retirement home giving a talk about safety. The people at the retirement home don't want to hear about safety. They've heard it before, they're bored with it, they want to talk about what they want to talk about. And I found that fascinating as well, and you get the sense that Donna is fascinated with that, and she agrees to join them for lunch at their restaurant in the home. And they get along like a house on fire, and we get a sense that from that meeting, they like each other enough, the members that she talks to, and Donna, there's maybe a friendship or a bond that forms over that meal. And soon after that, Elizabeth works out ways to get Donna back to the retirement home to talk about a live case that's going on. Because soon after they meet for the first time, there's a current murder, and it's very close to home for the people in the retirement community. And they want to solve it. They want to know why a certain person was murdered. The person who was murdered was an ex-business partner of the person who owns the retirement community they're living in. And the owner of the retirement community severed their business partnership on the same day this guy was murdered. So immediately there's, alarm bells going off. Is this related? Is that severing of business ties related to the guy's murder? And that opens up suspects straight away. There's also other suspects that come along in the story, some of them very close to home to our main characters, and I found that really fascinating because it just means this plot was well thought out and well crafted. And just because we have all these suspects, the story doesn't give very much away. So I was guessing through the book. I thought different people, different times could have been the murderer. I love that in a story. Because if the reader's doing that, it just means the author is doing a great job in crafting the whole book for us. Another aspect of this story is that the owner of the retirement community wants to expand it. So the initial site was built where an old convent was, and then there's other grounds where there's an old church and an old cemetery where nuns were buried. And the expansion is going to go onto that land. And part of that is going to dig up the cemetery and shift the graves. There are people there who don't want that to happen. They want to stop it for all different reasons. And that's very interesting because you're thinking, why? Why did I want to stop it? What's so important about it? If they got all the approvals from all the different organizations that need to approve this move, what's the anger behind the community about moving it? You can understand some of the anger, but some of the characters who want to stop it, they seem to have different motives, not just about trying to protect the graves. Something else could be underneath their motives as well. What we do find out though is that a second body is found in this book after the first murder. When was the second person murdered? I won't give that away because it's central to the plot. It creates a bit of a plot twist. I'm not going to give that away, but I'll just say that after that second body is found, this just really ramps up the mystery and suspense in this story. So we've got two mysteries to solve, and are they connected or are they separate? And could the same person be responsible for both murders? They're the questions that have to be answered in this book. I do like this book very much. The mystery is spot on, it's very tight, and unravels at a really good pace. You don't find out who the culprit is to the very end. It keeps you guessing. Everything about this book is top marks. Joyce, who's a nurse and one of our main characters, one of the people in the group, she's a great character. And through this book, there are chapters from her voice, from her point of view, as she's writing a diary. And I love those chapters. I liked her voice in those very much. It just seems so real and genuine. And this character feels very real and lifelike as well throughout the whole book. And she just seems to be almost like a peacemaker character. Everyone gets along with Joyce, but she has her own opinions, and there can be strong opinions as well. And she's quite clever. She's very, very perceptive. Her observations are almost spot on all the time. It's a really good character in this book. I thought one of the great characters in the book. Elizabeth is the most outlandish character in this story. Another retired person in the Thursday Murder Club. I like this character as well. Even though she's outlandish, she's not over the top. So everything she does makes sense to the character. Her motives, her actions, her history, it all makes sense and it all feels real. She adds so much colour and life and vibrancy to this book as well. But she has two sides to her. So she's got this outlandish side, very extroverted, and then in her personal life, she's more introverted and caring, especially with her husband, and her husband suffering from dementia as well, the early signs. So you see different sides to Elizabeth, and I like that in this character. It rounds her out so much. She feels like a fully formed character, very, very lifelike. She feels like a real person. IBRAHIM, I want to mention him out of the group because he's such a fun character. He's not the main person we see all the time in the group, so the story concentrates more on Joyce and Elizabeth. But IBRAHIM is there quite often as a support character. He's a very strong character in my opinion, and you picture him quite well. I like the way he calculates things and he gets enjoyment from that. It shows his personality, it shows who he is, it shows what he was throughout his whole life, even his profession as well. And it rounds him out quite well. All the characters, all the main characters in this book are so well rounded and so well thought out. And I just picture IBRAHIM so completely in this story and so clearly. I really do enjoy this character. I can't say enough how much I love this book. I love everything about it. The characters, the mystery, the plot, the setting, everything about it is spot on. I rated it a 5 out of 5. I don't know why it's taken me so long to discover this series. I'd seen it in the library quite often, on the library website, in the library itself, and I just hadn't picked up to read it. I'm glad I put it on hold and got this book and read it. I was looking forward to it for so long to finally get a copy of it to read, and now I just want to read the rest of the series immediately. I love this book so much. On my channel, I do review other cozy mystery books. If you don't want to miss out on those videos, check out my channel and subscribe. There's also a cozy mystery playlist on my channel. It should be on your screen now.